Take back the rights we've all been taught to honor. Take a knee. Sometimes in this crazy world, you have to stoop to conquer. Take a knee for the First Amendment. Take a knee as a proud descendant. Take a knee for America and what it all stands for. Take a knee for America and what we all stand for.
Marcus, what do you have for us this evening?
H.U.P.F is Hand Up, Paid Forward. It's a charity that I founded a couple years ago now, after one of the worst fires in the history of the Bronx. My son and his family lived there and lost everything, and then there's one the following month where 21 died. Just tragic. You know, it was a couple weeks before Christmas, but that wasn't the worst of it. The worst of it was a few days after the fire, when they were going to let people in to get their belongings and so forth. They were looted, so they were robbed. And there's a yellow tape, so the only one people go in there is people that are appointed by the state. So little ladies' coin purses and the jewelry in the bottom, and by the way, it's 2 weeks before Christmas, so Christmas presents, and it was just really tragic. So I decided to combat that by just going to different stores and companies and saying, "Will you help?" And they thought I meant, "Will you help?" Well, me or my family. And I said, "No, let's help everybody else." And I think they were so moved by that they just gave and kept giving. So instead of it just being once or twice for 9 months, they just kept giving. And I kept going to churches and shelters and food banks and just unloading, coats, boots, shoes, hats, gloves. Even restaurants got involved where, like, Olive Garden would give me a section of the restaurant. I'd go to a food shelf where they're serving food and stop the line, and these 10 families, they're not serving you. Well, why is that? Because there's a bus waiting to take you to the Olive Garden. All you can eat whatever you want. And and I saw kids that had never been in a restaurant before. Some of the families that rode with me, they were in ooh and ah on the way there because they'd never been in a car. Just another level of like, oh my God, really? So even though we lost so much, it didn't even matter.
Marcus, what was the hardest part of organizing this?
Being one guy. That was the hardest part. But I've had a couple companies and a nonprofit organization, so I was familiar with how to get around, and making the appeal on behalf of others was the easiest part, because I really didn't get a no. No one said no. And it came to a point where I was running out of gas. Sears would have me come and load up my car, and I'd go drop it off, and they'd say, "Come back and get another load." I go back, and it's like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour back from that location. So I have to go in 3 times. I'm on empty from delivering all this stuff. So it was a welcome challenge. And now it's taken a life of its own because of the shootings, really. The school shootings in Connecticut. I was able to, I'm a New York State chaplain and an ambassador for peace, so I was able to.
You're a chaplain?
Yes, I'm a chaplain, which I love. And I was able to actually help bury a couple of those children and work with the families in the aftermath and do some fundraising for the community. And I guess getting a reputation working with them, it went from that to the next shooting, which was in Florida. And when that happened, Mike Spano, the mayor of Yonkers, where I live now, I went to him and all these vendors such as Sears and Kmart and Target and Walmart, and I said I want to be a part of that, and I was sent as the ambassador for New York, and I spoke at the memorial.
So, how can people at home, how can they assist you in your endeavors?
Well, I have a GoFundMe, so It cost about $10,000 actually to do an event. The school events is where I go into 6 schools in the community. I have to nominate 2 educators, amazing educators who go above and beyond. Then I go to the precinct, and I have the precinct nominate 2 officers. I go to the fire department, they nominate 2 firemen. And then collectively I ask for a community leader. Is there a couple of community leaders who are doing amazing things? And those are the people that combine to what this is. This is an event that I'll go into the school and we'll honor all these people. And from there, you know, everyone's in the same room. It's nothing but love, and it's always a surprise. They never know that they're in there for that. All of a sudden, their families pop out of the back. We had fire trucks pull up, and they filed in. We had officers come in uniform, and none of them that were in there knew what was going on. So it was just a moment, and they got trips and vacations. They got hotels for 2 and spa. They didn't pay for anything. It was just amazing.
And how long has this been going on?
2 years now. And so my goal is to do 4 a year somewhere in the country. I am trying to reach out to, you know, some celebrities as well right now, and sports people, to say, will you get back to your community where you came from? Matter of fact, Mike Spano, once again, the mayor, we're going back to his high school and doing an honors event for his high school and his community. But that's, you know, that's what I really want to do and where I want to take it. Yeah, amazing.
So nice.
It's just an amazing thing.
Oh yeah, excellent.
Oh, look at that.
I'm Santa. I'm Santa. I get to be Santa. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
One of the elderly calls me the Good Samaritan. So I'm like, yeah,
That's nice.
I'm the Good Samaritan.
Good job.
And I want to be the Good Samaritan for a living. You know, when I see those kids who, again, never even rode in a car, or over Christmas they got gifts and things, that's because the police department jumped in and bought stuff. I don't mean little things. They bought like bikes. They bought like phones. They bought like really serious things. It's just like, wow. And I'm just bawling because they're bawling. It is. Yeah, you know, New York has a bad rap for cold, callous, and fast, but I'm telling you, I've met some of the best people in this state. And I got all their names in the phone book, and I'm collecting. We're gonna just, we're gonna squash all these bad people. So, yeah. So I'm blessed. I'm truly blessed to be a part of H.U.P.F. I just wanted to share this first short film here. Again, I was appointed as an ambassador for New York, and I was able to go to Florida after the shooting. The police department picked me up from the airport and escorted me around. They allowed me to take a camera on the campus and actually showed me where the shooting took place. It was surreal.
Which one was this?
This was Florida, and basically I had live, when everyone was watching the mass of thousands of kids leave, I was showing it live while I was there. And so, you know, this is what let me know that H.U.P.F. was more, even though it's impactful here, that this is potentially a global thing. And I would hope at some point to be able to, I have friends in other countries, I'm asking them to create this in their language and in their country too, and extend it. But this film here is, it's just powerful, because remember, it's not a television show. I was there. It's real. These shootings are happening. Kids are really dying.
We thought it was a drill at first, but we were still taking it seriously.
But then my friend called me and she said, it's a shooting, run.
The shooter wore a gas mask and had smoke grenades. He went and set off the fire alarm so the kids would come pouring out into the hall.
I thought at the beginning that it was all a drill until I saw my teacher dead on the floor.
I actually had one of my friends, Xavier, running to the classroom.
Well, I'm saying, I don't know. Every time I look at it again, it reminds me of just the fear. If your parents, you have children or grandchildren, or the one place you would have, when you leave them, you never think twice. This is when you're safe. Then you can go do other things, but just to know that there's been so many. There is no safe place, and the shootings where they have been in good areas. On top of that,
yes.
So, just what can you say?
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your thoughts about some of the shootings and things that?
It's awful, and I think part of the reason why it's getting much more attention, it's happening in all places, all areas, that many people of all different backgrounds are being affected by gun violence, and now I think it's becoming something that's a very important issue for us, for everybody to discuss. And what we're doing at our church is helping people, encouraging them to vote, register to vote, because it's very important. We need to have people have a say, and I think the laws they passed earlier this year in New York State should be very helpful towards that people can pre-register at age 16 and 17, so registration becomes automatic at 18, that we're going to have early voting. So I think that these issues are things people should know about, and that's something our church is encouraging people to know about.
Well, this next one is my pride and joy, because I've written and produced a lot of music, but this is the most fun and my favorite and most powerful to me. It's the theme song for H.U.P.F. HandUpPF, pay for it. It's called Hand to My Fellow Man.
Let the little children come to me, Jesus said, and do not hinder them, for to such belongs the kingdom of heaven.
May God heal the injured, and may God comfort the wounded, and may God be with the victims and with the victims' families.
When I look at the world today, it troubles me to see so many in pain. So many died, we don't know all the names. Don't let the lives be lost in vain. I don't want to hear another cry, or wipe the tears from a mother's eyes. It's time for us to put our egos aside and find a way to sit another life. Many have been called, but you are chosen. I found my purpose, and you are worth it, because together we can change humanity.
I need help. When you talked about, your church and so forth, and even, from political stuff, it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
There's a reason it's a blue and red hand.
Yes.
Because I don't care. It's
Right.
all about the kids. It's
Yes.
all about these kids. Do you know that 6 other these kids that made it through killed themselves?
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't know, but I know it's not many, 6, but I know
It's 6.
several.
And also, I have a picture. I buried 2 of the kids. The father of one of the kids killed himself 2 weeks ago. I have a picture with him. He just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think I remember hearing that, yes.
So it's not the end by far. Not to mention there's another shooting, which I'm supposed to go to Colorado. I was talking to the mayor of Colorado and to the school about that on the 6th of this month is their anniversary. So, I wrote and produced a song of hope called I Can, Will, and Must Survive. I have 60 schools, children
And I think
involved.
the other thing that's important, not just like gun violence and empowering kids not to be violent, but to also address the mental health. I know
Yes.
I might be biased because I'm a mental health therapist, but people are suffering, and it comes out in that way, the worst way possible. And unfortunately, this is a country where access is just so easy, you know. So
I mentioned about how much better you would feel knowing that it got there and you saw them partaking. The same thing. When you support H.U.P.F, I take a camera with me, and you supported me to go there. I'm there and I'm live. They're watching on TV, but everybody who's connected with me is watching this live and seeing, you know, there's 200-300-pound guys who collapsed in my arms for the loss of their children. I gave hugs for 30-40 minutes each. And it's real. It's real.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm passionate about it. But for the first time, I know I'm making a difference.
Yes.
I know I am. And right now, this song of hope, I'm hoping that we're trying to make it go viral because the aftermath. They need help. They need help, and they're being overlooked.
You never want to experience.
No.
Losing
I
a
can't
child.
even imagine.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
Why are you so quiet today?
Oh, no. I'm just listening to these fascinating stories. It's amazing that this gentleman's doing all that on his own, a lot of that. Also, I was concerned with, like, not only how you establish relationships, but how you follow up with the people that donate to your organization. What do you do to follow up and keep them up to date on what the people benefiting are doing?
Well, that's a great question because I think it's the essence of everything. I was working with Sears and Kmart, and they gave me the first few loads of things. And what I did is I took footage of me handing those shoes and boots and coats and underwear and those things out. And I had the kids and people said, thank you, Kmart, thank you, Sears, and thank you. And then I took it back to the executives and I emailed it and I showed it to them. And they said to me, we've given millions and millions of dollars over the many years, and we've never seen where it went.
Right.
We know it went to a good place. We know that, but we've never seen it before. And
that's powerful.
And they just kept, and that's when they just kept giving. So at this point, my website and my Facebook, I always update whenever anybody does anything. They say thank you and acknowledge that. And now me actually with the release of my song and video, the theme song, pay homage, give credit. And I think that's it. I think all of them, because I met the executive, they're so wealthy. They don't, we don't really want praise. But at the same time, it still meant a lot. It meant a lot. It did for them, and they just kept giving. So great question.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because people like to see more than financial statements and where the money going. They like to see evidence, and the visual evidence you provide, I'm sure, is very helpful.
Right. And if I could, one of my dreams is when there's a crisis, such as a flood or those things, I want H.U.P.F to be there with Salvation Army, those people, giving aid and giving comfort and so forth and so. But I want, when you give, I give the Red Cross. Okay, it's getting there.
Is the big thing.
Right.
You
but
want to
what
make
if
sure
you
that
knew
I
was gonna take this cup and put it in somebody's hands that you gave,
and there was actual need, and they're going to benefit.
That's what I want to do. That's H.U.P.F. The hands, the extended arm from the wealthy to the average Joe. That I want to help. Okay, guaranteed, it got there.
Rueben, I think this would go good to bring this to Jeremiah.
Okay.
And Kevin Van Hook for the Minister of Social Justice.
I'll do that, absolutely.
Who both were supposed to be here tonight, matter of fact. Where are they? Who knows?
Nevertheless, this was a very amazing show, right? Your guests were great and gracious.
Well, I thank you, Mrs. Bailey. I'm honored that you're doing much better now. I talked to her earlier today. She was like, I said, what the? Oh my God. Take a power nap or something.
Enough about me. Go ahead and close out.
All right. But anyway.
I think you were simply angelic.
Thank you. That's what I said.
Devilishly angelic, I would say. All right, people. This is another great show, another great night. And so happy that we had this time together. And we have Victor Jordan, we have Marcus, we have Mr. Martinez, and you know Mrs. Angelic here. Have a good night. Until the next time.
Take a knee. Take back the rights we've all been taught to honor. Take a knee. Sometimes in this crazy world you have to stoop to conquer. Take a knee for the First Amendment. Take a knee as a proud descendant. Take a knee for America.